Hello, everyone. So, welcome, everyone, on this Diwali day. And so, we are in a good mood, and let's apply that good mood to some problem solving. Okay, so with a month away, what we should be doing? We should be looking at the most elementary concepts and being sure that we can apply them, right? At the same time, we know that this is something in which we have to be prepared for the unknown, right? So therefore the idea is to get exposure to new style of problems, right? Asking the same things but in a slightly different way, right? So we should understand that this exam is basically all about comprehension skills. If I can understand what is being asked, half the job is done. Then I know the maths. I know the enough of maths to then solve it out, right? But it's the comprehension of what is being asked, what needs to be done. That's the first, breaking point. Once you can break that ice, then I think anything can be done. Right. So with that agenda, so again we have some interesting questions for all of those of you who are with me. Just try to solve along with me and give me your responses. Right. Ask me your doubts. For those of you who are maybe watching it later on, I would highly recommend that you know pause the video and try it out before going through the discussion, right? Okay, so let's start, people. Let's dive in. Here we go. So something that is quite important, CDC 4, right? This will be coming on November 16th, right? Which means that this will prepare you for facing that exam day in a better, your mindset will be very clear. Okay, I know how it feels like going into the exam hall, doing it, right? Facing all those jitters. So so just something that I think all of you should look out for. November 12th is the last day to register for it, right? So the details are there. You can scan over here and check it out. All right, here we go, people. Okay, so I'm starting this one straight away. That being said, you should also try it along with me and share your answers if you get them faster than I can, right? I know a lot of people are there in the session, so just shout out something. Hello, hi, yes, we are there, so that we know that we are all connected. All right, here we go. So, a wealthy man had four sons. Good times, right? According to his will, his estate was to be divided among them from the eldest to the youngest in this ratio. But after his father's death, the eldest son altered the will, changing the ratio to 6 is to 5 is to this one without leaving any trace of tampering. So basically, he played foul, right? By how much percentage did the eldest son inheritance increase, and by how much percentage did the youngest son's inheritance decrease? So ratios and percentages, right? In any ratio problem, right? Either we can go by the variable approach, means 9x, 8x, 7x, 6x, or directly work with numbers. So my point is, I want to emphasize, all of us have seen these questions many times, and either we take the route of going through variables, or we just directly work with numbers, right? And that is always fast. So in those two ratios, how can we interlink them, right? Without taking variables, how can we just interconnect those two ratios, right? That's the point. So the thing is, your total inheritance value is the same, right? It's not going to change. It is going to remain what it is, right? But its distribution is changing. So my point is, the total of these ratios 9876 and 6543 is equal. So we can equate them by considering what is the current total and then just multiplying with a common factor to equate them. So 9 is to 8 is to 7 is to 6 is there. What is the sum of these numbers? 9 and 8 is 17 and 7 is 24 and 6 is 30. 30 is the sum of these numbers, right? And what about 6, 5, 4, 3? So with this altered ratio, so 6 and 5, 11 and 4, 15 and 3, 18. So this 30 and this 18 are actually equal, right? Yeah, correct part. LCM is 90. So therefore 30 into 3 would be 90 and also 18 into 5 would be 90, right? Perfect. So we need to just multiply these ratios with those factors and get the interconnected numbers, right? By the way, throw me your answers quickly, right? I think you can do that now. Okay. So into 3 here and into 5 here. 9 into 3, 27. 24 here, 21. So in boxes, I'm writing those numbers such that these two numbers are now interlinked, right? And this is 18. And over here, this is 6 into 5, 30. And this is 25, 20, and 15. So you can see that now with these numbers written in this form, you can see that, the eldest son's inheritance is increasing by how much proportion? Yes, Parth, thank you. Right? 3 on 27 or 1 on 9, which is 11.11%. Only option D makes that claim. So therefore, that's the correct choice, right? And yes, this is correct because 18 to 15 is an increase of 1/6, right? Is a decrease of 1/6. 18 to 15 is decrease of 3 on 18 or 1/6, right? So 16.66. Perfect. Right. So therefore, ratios, right? Try not to make use of variables, just directly work with numbers. So what you should think in such questions is what is not changing, right? So in this two scenarios, the total will amount is not changing, right? Okay, so something I think this was quite manageable, can also be done with variable, but this is the best approach. Next one. Okay, so I think we are yeah, so I'm very happy to see your response. Now let me give you a minute to try this before I jump in. Okay. I'll just wait if you can get this. This CBD cannot be determined always, makes us rethink again and again. Oh, can this question be solved or not? Right. So let's see what happens here. While calculating the average age of the boys and girls, the ratio was mistaken to be 2:3 instead of 3:2. So actually, boys were more than girls, but we flipped the ratio. Hence, the average age of the students turned out to be 2 years less than the actual. By how many years is the average age of the boys more than that of the girls? Let's say the boys have an average age of X and the girls have an average age of Y. We have to basically find X minus Y. That's what the question is asking, right? Okay. Did you get this? Shubham is saying C. Good. Good, Shubham. Very nice. Right. So let me finish this. Yeah. So 10 is correct. Thank you, Shubham. Very good. So we have to find X minus Y. X and Y I have taken as their average age. So we did a calculation mistake. By mistake, what did we calculate the average? The average which was calculated by mistake, which is the wrong value. So we'll find the ratio, basically this is the weighted mean, right? So x and y, these average ages, we'll calculate them in the ratio of 2 is to 3. So we'll calculate them as 2x plus 3y by 5. Simple concept of weighted mean, right? And so this is the wrong ratio. What is the actual ratio? The correct ratio is 3 is to 2. So therefore the correct value of the average, right? So 3x plus 2y by 5, right? Perfect. So this difference is given as 2 years, right? The average age turned out to be 2 years less. So this first value is 2 less than this, or other way around, the correct average is 2 years more than the mistaken value, right? So therefore, what we'll have the equation. So 3x plus 2y by 5 minus of 2x plus 3y by 5 is given as 2. In the numerator, I am getting x minus y. Simply upon 5 is 2, x minus y is therefore 10. That's it. Done, right? Perfect. So therefore, I think we are learning, that sometimes variables approach is indeed required. Sometimes we can bypass that. So, uh, whatever strikes, and we can do quickly. Okay, good. Let's see. Let's move on, right? Keep on asking me any queries, doubts, right? That's why we are having this live session even on this Diwali day, right? And I'm very happy to see a lot of attendance. Good. Okay. Well, so I think I should give you some time for this again, right? It won't help me to just start it. Let me give you some time to think out, right? And no options this time. Theta question, right? Let's see if you get this. Okay, so I've given you enough time. In case you're about to get it, do let me know your answer, right? Okay, so so this is a straight line, obviously passing through the origin 4x minus 3y 0, or 4x equals 3y, right? And we're looking for integer coordinates on it. So if 4x equals 3y, this is a straight line obviously passing through origin. And we know that the circle x squared plus y squared equals r square, we know, is a circle also with its center at the origin of radius r. So therefore this line is passing through the center of the circle. That is quite an easy thing, right? Let me draw the diagram so that there is no doubt about what I'm trying to say. Let's say this is your xy plane, right? So therefore this straight line, let's say, right, is something like that. And a circle will be also with its center at the origin. So you can see that therefore you have to find the integer coordinates on this straight line within this range, right, of inside of the circle from this point to that point, right? Okay, so what we do, we see that 4x equals 3y. So what kind of points will be there on it? Anand, okay, we'll just check. Anand has said 29. We'll just check. Right, 4x equals 3y. So 4 into 3 is equal to 3 into 4. So the smallest possibility is 3 comma 4. And any other possibilities will be only multiples of that, like 6 and 8, 9 and 12 and so on. So basically, when x is of the form 3k and y is of the form 4k, that is when we get the integer coordinates, right? Now comes the constraint that it's inside the circle. So you see, x square plus y square equals r square is the equation of a circle with the center at origin radius of r. So my point is, any point alpha comma beta, it will lie inside the circle. What is the constraint? So you see, x square plus y square equals r square is the boundary. So less than r square is inside and more than r square is outside, right? So our constraint or condition is that x square plus y, alpha square plus beta square, if that is less than of your r square, that is the constraint when your point will be inside. So therefore just apply that. So over here we can therefore say that 3k square, which is 9k square, and 4k square, which is 16k square. So 25k square should be less than your 5,000. Perfect. So therefore we know that k square therefore is coming to be less than 200, and so 14 square is 196. So k can be at the max equal to 14 in magnitude. So we can also have negative k and positive k. Negative k means going in the third quadrant, positive k means here in the first quadrant. So k therefore lies in the range from minus 14 to 14, including 0 also. Origin 0 comma 0 is also part of the solution. So yes, Anand, you're correct. 29 is the correct choice. I mean, not a choice, but the correct answer to type. Perfect. Anand, so let me tell you, Anand is asking, should we learn locus and stuff? So see, this is all jargon. Just remember, all we need to know is the different forms of equations of a line, concept in coordinate geometry, what is required to be known, right? Distance formula, section formula, slope concept, different forms of the equations of the line, right? And circle, right? Circle equation, right? So lines and circles, they are the main things. Concept of slope is important. Different forms of line, their equations, and geometry. So questions on coordinate geometry are also those in which the Euclidean geometry concepts are being tested, right? So for example, a question can be something like this. Okay, he'll give the equations of the 3 lines of a triangle, and he'll ask for the coordinates of the centroid, the in center of the triangle. So therein comes your, that you're being tested on your actual understanding of the Euclidean geometry concepts, right? So I think that's the thing, right? This question is more of algebra driven, right? Because you had to understand the point that how the integer coordinates will be there. So there will be equally spaced points, on this straight line. And the fact that, the values of x and y will be in this form, right? So therein comes your algebra part, right? So you, Anand, don't get swayed away by one question. So uh, it's just it's just a term that you're saying, right? I know where you're coming from. I think you have prepared for JE and you're coming from those days. I'm also coming from that background, right? But so this is not where you have to use your JE concepts. Okay, so this is CAT, right? uh, it does not go into that territory. Okay, perfect. Okay, here we go. Next one. Hmm. Okay, so very interesting questions I have brought today. Uh, right. So again, I won't be doing it justice if I just start this. So giving you a minute or so to think about this. Okay, so I think you must have started out. Maybe you're in the middle. So if you get there, do let me know your answers. Right. So, good friendship in this question, right? Comes immediately on the next day after calling him, right? Okay, so therefore he thought he would build this in 50 days, but when he started off, he realized that he needs more time. How much? He needs actually 60 days, 10 more, right? So, and that happens after already 10 days have passed. Okay, so you see, we have done questions, many questions in the previous sessions on time and work, and primarily two techniques are there, right? Either we quantify the work or we quantify the rate to start off, and we try to deduce the ratio of the rates when two or more people are involved. But the point is, in this question, to start with, there is only one person. Okay. What if there's only one person? How do we start? Well, so the thing is, just assign him just a simple value for his rate. Okay. Uh, Again, the simplest number is 1 unit. Okay. Uh, Shubham, Parth are giving their answers. Thank you. Thank you. We'll just check. You have given different answers. Let's see who is correct. Okay. Thank you. Now, so So what I'll do for Amit, I will assign him a work rate. Okay. Simple number is 1. 1 unit of work he can do in reality per day, as not the expectation, but the reality, actual. So therefore, since in reality he needs 60 days, so that total works gets quantified as what? 60 units. Total work is 60 units. Now, so this question is about initial actual what happened, and then the question which is asked is about a hypothetical if then kind of situation, right? So let's see what we do. We analyze the first actual situation. Now what's the objective is obviously that what is the work rate of Chetan as against that of Amit. So since we have assigned the numbers, we should get some numerical value for the rate of Chetan from the further conditions. So what happens is 10 days gone, 10 days gone, so 10 units of work also done by Amit. So remaining work is 50 units, right? Now, when was this completed? Actually, they were able to finish in 10 days ahead of the schedule, which means total 40 days required. 50 days was the scheduled, So 10 days ahead of the schedule, 40 days, 10 days already gone. So in reality, working together, they only required 34 more days. So therefore, this work of 50 units, this got done in 30 days when they were working together. Perfect. 10 days gone, 30 more days, total 40 days timeline, work got done. So what was the total rate achieved by them? Obviously, rate work upon time. So 50 by 30, 5 by 3 unit per day. There is your rate of Chetan. 5 by 3 is the combined rate of Amit and Chetan. So 1 we have assigned for Amit. So therefore, Chetan's work rate becomes the remaining of 2 by 3 units. Right? So that is the work rate of Chetan. Now, having deduced all this, we can now come to the question which is being asked. So let me do this here. If Amit had called Chetan after 20 days instead of 10, when would the work have got over? So in 20 days, 20 units of work also would have been done, right? So the remaining work is of 40 units. Remaining 40 units of work is remaining. And 5 by 3 is the work rate. So how much more time is required after the 20 days to finish this work? Time is work upon rate. Work of 40 units to be done at the rate of 5 by 3 units per day when they are working together. This is what, 24? 40 into 3 by 5. So 5 cancels, 8 into 3, 24. 24 more days are required after the 20 days, which is a total of 20 and 24, 44 days. So 6 days ahead of the schedule. Right? They're able to still finish the work 6 days ahead. Right? Right, Parth. Right? You got this? Good. So, well, interesting. I think so. Right? So these kind of questions, they need clarity. That I have to start by assuming some number. I have done this many times, right? So be very clear on this. Whether one person is there or two persons are there, you need to assign some numerical value to the either the work or the rate. Perfect. Okay. Let's continue. Hardcore algebra. Right? Let me say this question can be done in around 1.5 minutes. So let's try. And this one has options too. But I guess very difficult to backtrack from the options because he's asking for the sum of the roots. You see, options, whenever they are there, right, it is very rare that you can backtrack from the options. Given, theta questions have been kept only for this reason. Okay, let's see if you can get this. Okay, so let's see. Uh, Anant, let's see if you get this. Parth also thinking on that same line. Hmm. Okay, here we go. Now, if you have mod equal to mod, how do you solve? If you have an equation in this form, mod A equals mod B, it simply means that we had to solve for two things. Either A could be equal to B or A could be equal to minus of B. I hope first of all that is very obviously clear to everyone, right? Mod A equals mod B. So either A and B are the same, or they are the negative, uh, you know, they are just negative reciprocals of each other, right? So therefore, we have to do that. And when does this happen? When does this happen? So mod A equals mod B. So A will be equal to B when, under what constraint? When A and B are basically both either positive or both negative, right? Or else this A equals minus B would happen when basically they are of opposite signs. So either plus minus or minus plus. So same sign, they are equal. Opposite signs, they are the negatives of each other, right? So we can make those two cases and see what do we get. Case 1, this is case 1, this is case 2. So case 1, x plus 1 by x minus 2 equals x minus 1. X cancels on both the sides. So remember, we have to see that whatever solution we are getting, is that satisfying the original condition or not, right? Which is this one. So what we're getting, 1 by x equals 1, x equals 1. So when x equals 1, both the quantities are 0. So 0 equal to 0. 0 is neither positive nor negative. So it's satisfied. I mean, both of you have given the answer of B. Now, did you analyze the other case or not? X plus 1 by x minus 2 equals negative of x minus 1, which is 1 minus x. X comes over here. 2x plus 1 by x equals 3. X plus x 2x plus 1 by x equals 2 plus 1 3. Quadratic. Let's solve this. 2x square plus 1 equals 3x, or 2x square minus 3x plus 1 is 0. 2x minus 1, x minus 1 is a simple factorization of this equation. 2x square minus 3x plus 1. So x is either half or 1. 1 we have already got from the previous condition also. Is x equal to half satisfying the original condition, which is that the signs are opposite of the expression inside the modulus? When x is half, the LHS, the term inside the modulus, is half plus 1 over half 2. So 2 and a half minus 2, which is half. So LHS is half. RHS is half minus 1, which is minus half. So yes, they are of opposite signs also. So you missed this solution. Answer is not B, answer is D. Right. So, all right. So something to learn, something to take away, right? Mod A equals mod B, that kind of thing. If it comes, you know now how to do. Right. Perfect. So let's continue in that mood with the next one. Okay. So again, let's see if you can get this one. This requires, let me say, on an average 2 minutes, right? So let me give you that much time to try. Okay, let's see. So a boarding house levies certain fixed charge equally shared by the lodgers. Other variable charges are directly levied per lodger. So from this statement, first of all, the thing is you need to interpret the cost as a function of the number of lodgers, because the further things he's talking about are the expense per lodger. So the total cost, let's say C, right, as a function of the number of lodgers, let's call that N. C is the total cost, N is the number of lodgers, equals, so there is some fixed cost, let's say call it F, a certain fixed charge distributed amongst the lodgers, plus some variable charge directly levied per lodger. So if that variable cost is, let's say, V, and N are the number of lodgers, so each of them will be paying that V rupees. So N into V is the variable cost. So fixed charge is fixed. So this is the first of all the interpretation of the statement, right? You had to interpret this, what he's saying. Then the question primarily delves upon the per lodger cost, right? So, or the average cost basically, right? That is what he's talking of. So therefore, obviously average, let's call that A, the average cost per lodger. Again, that will depend on the number of lodgers, right? It will be the total cost which we have taken divided by the number of lodgers. So simply C, the cost divided by the total number of lodgers, will be the average cost per lodger, which will come to be F, the fixed cost, divided by N plus V. So it is this expression on which the further conditions are given. So the expense per lodger drops by 1/5. The expense per lodger drops by 1/5, means it becomes 4/5 of the original if they double in number. So the condition is that is being told over here is that if your N goes to 2N, so your average expense AN goes to 4/5 of its initial value. That is being told over here. As number of lodgers double, the average cost reduces by 20%. So what's the we can write an equation around this. So therefore, right, A of 2N, the average cost when N is replaced with 2N becomes 4/5 of the original. So A of 2N will be F by 2N plus V. So this is 4/5 of the original value, which is 4/5 of F over N plus V. This should give us some kind of further condition between the variables that we have taken, right? We have primarily taken two variables, F and V, right? So we are getting this is so this is 4/5 F by N plus 4/5 of V. So we are getting V minus 4/5 of V, which is V by 5, equals, so 4/5 or 0.8 minus 1/2, which is 0.5. 0.8 minus 0.5, which is 0.3 or 3/10 of F by N. Agree? So this 5 cancels and we are getting that V is 3/2 of F by N. So we can use this to further deal with the problem, right? Which is, it is being asked then if further they are again doubling, means now if 2N further goes to 4N, right? If they again double, so 2N increases to 4N, so what happens to the average expense now, right? So A of 4N, first of all, let me just write again A of 2N in the simplified form, because we can replace V as this 3/2 of 4F by N. So A of 2N is nothing but F by 2N plus V, and V is 3/2 of F by N. So this is half plus 3/2, which is 2F by N. So we have eliminated the variable V, right, by replacing it as 3/2 of F by N. So we have got this simplified thing. Now A of 4N would be therefore F by 4N plus V, and V is simply our 3/2 of F by N. 1/4 plus 3/2. 3 by 2 is 6 by 4. 6 by 4 plus 1 by 4, 7 by 4. 7 by 4 of f by n. So we have got our ratio. So from 2 f by n, it is reducing to 7 by 4 of f by n, which is how much of the original? 7/8 of the original. So it has dropped by a factor of 1/8, right? A of 4n divided by a of 2n is 7 by 4 of f by n upon 2 of f by n. So 7/8. So it's 7/8 of the original. So it has dropped by a factor of 1/8. Right? So Parth, I hope you have got your mistake, something that you have done wrong, right? This is the interpretation of the question. This is what it means. So this question was heavy duty on your interpretation skills. Do you understand what the question is saying? Do you understand that the cost, how it is related to the different parameters? Right? It is the wording of the problem, how it translates to the mathematical form, right? That is the crux. I hope it is clear. Any doubts? None? Yeah, so in parts, definitely numbers can also be taken. No issues with that. But conceptually, something must have gone wrong, right? Okay, right. Moving on. All set. Next one. There we go. Ooh, quite a lengthy one. Let me take this up. Something I wanted to uh, share with you. So single questions on set theory are also asked in quant section, right? We know that set theory is primarily asked in the DILR section, but occasionally we have seen questions, single questions coming in quant section also. So it's a, you can expect it anywhere. Now, because set theory is a topic in which it's also possible to make a whole large set with your 4 or 5 questions being asked, and a single question with some just a very limited analysis that has to be done. Okay, so something very unique question is over here. Let us see, let's learn it. Let me read it first of all very carefully. Problems PQR were posed on maths test contest. PQR are the names of 3 questions. Okay, 30 contestants solved at least one problem. Among those who did not solve, now the statements start. Among those who did not solve P, twice as many solved Q as those who solved R, one more contestant solved only. So therefore now the Venn diagram situation is there, because the different the 30 different contestants that are there, each of them could have solved either only one of the 3 problems, or exactly 2 of them, or all 3 of them. At least there is nobody who solved none of the 3 questions, right? So none is 0. 30 is my union of the 3 sets. So we have to form a Venn diagram of PQR with the 7 regions we have to solve. Now, the statements are a bit complicated, right? Whenever you have right, see, the objective is that in Venn diagram problems, you should try not to take all the things as variables. Means don't start. It is the absolute no that you start with 7 variables. Okay, it would take you half an hour for sure, right? But try to look at those statements where one thing can be directly expressed in terms of the other. Now once you start reading, those kind of statements don't come across. Among those who did not solve P, twice as many solved Q as those who solved R, one more contestant solved only P than those who solved P, and at least one more problem. You see, the region of those who solving at least one more problem apart from P, that is not a single region. So let me draw the things first of all, and let's discuss this carefully. Right, this is there, this is there. Okay, so right now So what I'm saying is that among those who did not solve P, that is these three regions, twice as many solved Q. So these two regions, again, not a helpful statement. One more contestant solved only P than those who solved P and at least one more problem. P and at least one more problem is these three regions. Let's keep on reading for something which will give me a direct relationship. One more contestant solved P and R. P and R, these two regions. Then those who solved P and Q, these two regions. Again, not helping me. Which in turn was one more. Da, da, da. Okay, dump it. The number of contestants who solved only R, a specific region, was the same as those who solved only P and R. Now, this is where I can start talking. This is direct relationship between two specific regions, only P and only R. Last statement, also twice as many contestants solved all three problems, the centermost region, as those who solved only P and Q. Again, very helpful. Perfect. So I'll start from the last statement. I'll take this as N. Which will be N? Only P and Q. This one. Because then all three will become 2N. Twice as many contestants solved all three problems as those who solved only P and Q. So if this is N, then this is 2N. Okay. Right? The number of contestants who solved only R was the same as those who solved only P and R. Okay, now I need some different variable, but let me come. So do we have some other information? I think this we can turn to this central statement where the intersection of two that was being compared. So one more contestant solved P and R, then those who solved P and Q. So I've got my P and Q is 3N. So one more contestant solved P and R. So therefore, these two regions add up to what? These two regions add up to 3N. So these two should add up to 3N plus 1. So this should be N plus 1. Right? One more contestant solved P and R. Then those who solved P and Q. Which in turn, so this P and Q was one more than those who solved Q and R. So this is 3N. So this should be 3N minus 1, which means this should be N minus 1. Let me pause for a minute. Let me repeat. Right? There should be no doubt. I'm repeating. Last statement, twice as many solved all three as those who solved only P and Q. I directly took N and 2N. Right? All three becomes 2N, only P and Q becomes N. Then I come to this statement. One more contestant solved P and R. P and R, these two regions. Than those who solved P and Q, which I have got as 3N. So if this is 3N, these two should be 3N plus 1. Make sense? Comma, which in turn, which means he's referring to P and Q. P and Q, which is your 3N, was one more than those who solved Q and R. So this 3N is one more than the sum of these two. So this should be 3N minus 1. Right? Perfect. Now we can come back to this statement, the second last one. The number of contestants who solved only R was the same as those who solved only P and R, which we have written as N plus 1. So this becomes N plus 1. Right? Only R was the same as only P and R. Then we can come to the first two statements, which we had rejected, right? I mean, which we said, okay, let me come back to that later on. So therefore, what about this one? Second statement, one more contestant solved only P. Because we have got all the other three regions of P, right, in terms of the variable. So are you seeing that I have reduced my work from 7 variables to 1? So that is the whole point. The whole point is keep it simple. Keep it as low number of variables, right? So I'm doing with one variable. So one more contestant solved only P than those who solved P and at least one more. So P and at least one more is 2N and N, 4N plus 1. So this is 4N plus 2. One more than 4N plus 1. So this is 4N plus 2. One more solved only P than those who solved P and at least one more problem. Then come to the first statement. Only one region remaining, only Q. And the statement is among those who did not solve P. So looking at these three regions, outside the circle of P, twice as many solved Q as those who solved R. How many solved R? 2N. N plus 1 plus N minus 1. So if this is 2N, this should be 4N. This N minus 1 plus this should be 4N. So this should be 3N plus 1. these two adding up to 2n, those two adding up to 4n. Since this is 3n plus 1, the number should be, no, what is being asked is only this value. How many solved? Only q, which is 3n plus 1. So a multiple of 3 plus 1. 4 is of that form, 7 is also of that form. So still, we need to solve for the value of n, right? So for that, the only number in the problem is 30. So add up everything in terms of n, equate it to 30, get your value of n, get the answer. Okay, so let's add up everything. Okay, so how many n's do I see? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13n. And what about the constants? 2 plus 1, 3 plus 1, 4. And these two cancels. So 13n plus 4 is 30. 13n is 26. Yes, my n is 2. My answer is 7. Right? So something I wanted to bring out that in set theory problems, minimize your dependence on variables. Try to search for those statements such that you can keep on defining the different regions in terms of each other, right? Right, give me a thumbs up. How much did you understand? Right, this was quite an engrossing one. Just give me a go ahead. Good, right? Something that we learned. All right, any doubts? Sure. All right, moving on. Thank you. Okay, again, I guess something interesting is there. Probability. Let me give you a minute. I'm sure everybody can try this one. I'll wait for your answers, right? I need your responses. Let's see. Parth, I'm just reading your comment about the question on lodgers. Let me just say this. I'm looking at your mistake. You cannot assign a value to two variables simultaneously. You're saying fixed cost is this much, variable cost is this much. So my dear Parth, you have assumed that the total of fixed cost and the total of variable cost is the same. Mhm. You cannot assign a numerical value to two independent variables simultaneously. By doing that, you're putting in the problem your own assumption that the total fixed cost and the total variable cost are equal, which to begin with was the very unknown quantity to begin with. You don't know how the two numbers, how the two values are interlinked. That's your mistake part. I hope that makes sense. I hope you're trying. I hope you are getting my point, right? Don't do that mistake. We can always assume any one thing as an unknown, but we cannot simultaneously inject two numerical values to two independent quantities, because we're implying their relationship, their ratio, by doing that. I hope that is clear, isn't it? Right? Okay, so let me see now this one. Let me see what we are to do in this one. Okay, so what we are getting. Yeah, so I did not get much answers, huh? Everyone? Okay. Uh, okay, so here it is, people. Uh, 4 boxes. Box 1, box 2, box 3, box 4. What is the probability that each box still has one red and one blue ball? Each of them had one each of red and blue ball to start with, right? So when will this event occur? When will it happen that each ball is still having one red and one blue ball? So what goes in must come out also. Whatever goes in, whatever we go take from box 1 to box 2 must further be taken out from box 2 and going to box 3, and same for box 3 also. Whatever is coming in also must go out. So therefore, in order for this event to occur, in all the 4 transitions, either the same blue ball is being transferred or the same red ball is being transferred, right? Initially each of them has one red and one blue. Red blue, red blue, red blue, red blue. So either this should happen that red should go out, red should again go out, red should again go out from 3 to 4, and back from box 4 to box 1, again the same thing, red. Or for blue, what is the probability for red to be taken out in the first drawing? There is one red out of 2, half. Once a red ball comes in the back 2, what is the constitution of balls over there? There are 2 reds and there is one blue. What is the probability for therefore for the ball to be taken out as red? Now there are 3 balls, so 2 of them are red. So 2/3 is the probability for the ball to be taken out as red. Again red comes over here. So again RRB. So again the red to be taken out. Again 2 on 3. Again red comes over here. Again RRB. Again the same thing, red to be taken out. 2/3. So what is the probability? 1/2 into 2/3 into 2/3 into 2/3. What about the probability for the other way around, that every time it is blue, 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 blue? The situation is very identical. Again half, 2/3, 2/3, 2/3. So the same probability. So the answer is twice of this, 8/27. Not 1/8 parts, but 8/27. Right? Carefully had to be analyzed what's happening. You did not, I think, take into consideration the fact that when you're taking the red ball from the first to the second box, the constitution, the 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 the, the combination of balls kept in the box 2 changes. It's no longer red blue, it's rather now red red blue. So the probability of drawing out red ball again is no longer half. You have changed the sample space, isn't it? Okay, so on this Diwali day, very happy to see everyone. First of all, very good wishes to everyone on this uh, auspicious day. I hope it brings good luck, and I hope it keeps your mood elevated until the 4th Sunday of November, right? So all the best wishes, and uh, keep forward this you know, your spirits, right? Your spirits will take you high, right? Nothing else. You know all the things by now. You know how to read passages, you know how to analyze complex information, you know how to deal with each of the different things. Just take it very with a good spirit, right? uh, when you're doing in those 40 minutes, right, just forget the timer running on the top. Just know that in my mind I know how much time this requires. Judge each question, right? Make your decisions very wisely, which one to leave, which one to select, right? uh, you know all the things, right? So all the best. Thank you so much. See you in the next one. In case you are still looking out for some help, I think Power 30 is our module, which is designed for the last phase, right? So just check out this. The details are there over here. You can scan this, right? So thank you, everyone, people. See you in the next one. Mobile app is also there for your help. You can look at that as well. Okay. Thank you, people. See you in the next one. Thank you.